Hi, I'm Matt from the ranch, and we're looking at Psalm chapter 63, and where David is in a time of crisis and how he responds to that crisis. The things that we learn, and not so much about David though that we do, but really the desire is to learn about God. How will God reveal himself through the circumstances that David is in? And we talked about the fact that David seeks God early. Oh God, you are my God, early will I seek you. In other words, God is David's first choice, not his last resort. Now, you may be wondering why we're in the hay barn, and we're going to continue talking about Psalm chapter 63. But I want to go on with that passage where it says, and I'm going to answer that in just a minute here. It says, "My soul thirsts for you, my flesh longs for you in a dry and thirsty land. So I have looked for you in the sanctuary that I may see your power and your glory." David talks about thirsting and longing. The ranch puts up its own hay. We run a herd of about 80 head of horses. We put up large square bales, we put up round bales, we put up a lot of small square bales. This is actually our second cutting hay. We were blessed with a really great hay season last year, and to me the second cutting, that's the good stuff. And the horses think the same thing. The forage quality is really good. It's very palatable. It's really good hay. But to take care of that herd of about 80 head, if you were to put it all into small square bales, you're talking anywhere between 12 and 15,000 bales for us to get through a full season. That's a lot of work to get that much hay, and we're blessed by all those who are part of it. But when I came on staff back in 1991, I came on as the farmer. I actually spent 3 years as the farmer before I became the program director. And a couple years into working here, I met my wonderful bride, and we were married, and we were just kind of talking about this just the other day of, in our newlywed years, how one of the biggest stressors that we faced was, would there be enough rain to grow the hay? Or more importantly, in our part of the world, would there be enough sunshine to dry the hay? We usually don't lack on the rain end of things. And we considered that stress. Anyway, things have changed a little since then. But it's hard work. It's hard work putting the hay up. And I was blessed to be a part of it. I grew up working on farms, putting hay up. And I also discovered something else when I came here, and that was sweet tea. Now, I grew up, my mom was a sun tea person, and that's all good. In fact, it's probably healthy. Well, I'm sure it's healthier for you. She'd have a big glass jug, and she put several bags of tea in there and set it out in the sun, and we would drink it. And you could add sweetener if you wanted to or not, but usually just drank it as it was. But when I moved here, I discovered Jim Steele's sweet tea. Now, Jim Steele was our food service director at the time, and he was Tennessee through and through, and that man knew how to make sweet tea. In fact, the recipe that Jim used is the same recipe that we use today. So when I would go out in the fields on a hot day, I would fill my jug up with sweet tea, and as the day got hotter, the jug got lower, and then I would refill at lunchtime. But the funny thing was, though I drank a lot of sweet tea, I was usually still really thirsty, because it didn't truly satisfy. Oh, it tasted great. It really did. And it was just, it was what my tongue desired, but it's not what my body needed. To thirst after the things that really satisfy. And that's why David is saying in this passage, he's saying, what he needs? He needs refreshment in the Lord. He knows that he's going to be satisfied in the Lord like fresh water in a dry land. C.S. Lewis said this. He said, "If the lower branches of the streams of God's glory are so intoxicating, what must it be like to drink from the fountainhead? To have a thirst satisfied only by God." And so the challenge to my own heart and the challenge I'll pass along is this. Are we seeking God and satisfaction in God, that He would be our refreshment? Or are we settling for substitutes? And that will be our prayer. Lord, show us. Are we settling for the things that don't really satisfy?